What's going on, people? Welcome back to the OverAF Wrestling Podcast. And as Wrestlemania season continues, man, have we got a lot to talk about. I am Alex Thorn, author of I Am Thorn on Amazon.com.
I'm Danny, regular schmo. I got nothing, no accolades.
There's so much going on, man.
Yeah, in real life.
There's a lot of real life stuff going on that has nothing to do with sports entertainment. But we're seeing, for the very first time ever, full-blown WWE shows in an empty arena.
Yeah. Did you see SmackDown? The first SmackDown?
I saw SmackDown and I saw Raw. Well, snippets of both. I tuned in and out on my phone, on my Sling app, and SmackDown was rough. It looked amazing, but it was really rough. From what I saw from Raw, much better show.
I mean, they're doing the best they can with what they got. Raw was just basically the Royal Rumble. They showed the whole Royal Rumble, on the show, and then they had a segment with Austin. They had a match with Rey Mysterio and Andrade. They had The Undertaker and AJ.
I saw that.
Promo.
I did not see the match, the Rey Mysterio match. I didn't even see any action.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio, he beat him, so I guess they're setting up a program maybe for Mania for them to face each other. But, yeah, they're doing the best they can with what they got, man. I mean, it's just weird, It's just really, really weird.
As I said, and as I've been saying, and we're so happy, it's Wrestlemania season. Last week we watched a Wrestlemania that had 67,000 people. Today we're going to watch a Wrestlemania that has 18,000 people.
Yeah.
But in 4 weeks, we're going to be watching a Wrestlemania that has no people.
That, I don't know how they're going to pull that off, man. Because remember, even, how the Raw after WrestleMania is usually a big show too? What are they going to do? I'm really interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
But WrestleMania is about the spectacle, man. It's about the big crowd. It's about the you bring out your best entrants at WrestleMania. And how are they going to do this?
To me, I think, holding the Raws and the SmackDowns without people is them doing the best they can with the current situation. Proceeding with WrestleMania without a crowd from the Performance Center, that I think is a big mistake.
I think so too.
Will this make for a WrestleMania that when we have all, every single year where they do the countdown and they do the packages, will it make for a unique talking point every year? Of course it will. But man, like you said, the entrances, WrestleMania is built off of the fans.
Yeah.
That's risky, man.
This might not be the greatest idea, but I always thought about it. What if they did WrestleMania, they pre-taped it, right? They produced it, and they kind of did it kind of like a movie. You remember how Lucha Underground used to kind of film?
Yep.
So, film it like it was a movie, have people in the crowd, but have it be like the wrestlers or whatever, like some of the guys that are up and coming or something, or bring some people in.
Oh, people that aren't known.
Yeah, exactly. Some, production staff or whatever, have them in the, in the Performance Center, kind of film it kind of like you would a movie,
Well, because you're right. You're absolutely right. I would get started on that right now. Let's start filming these matches now, because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, and that would make it even more unique. Look, the point is, yes, you can't bring fans, and obviously it is a bad idea with everything that's going on in the world right now to have well over 50,000 people. Let's just put the cap there. Could be 90,000, you never know. But 50,000 people from all parts of the world coming to Florida for this one event. Not good. I get it. But if they're going to do this production, it's going to have more than 50 people there.
You have to.
Right? Because the wrestlers are there. The production people are there.
Yeah.
WWE employees, families maybe. Even people will be there. So you're right. That's a great idea. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go, man, because wrestlers play off of crowd reaction. I mean, you know that. You were once at one point, in the business, so you know that the wrestlers play towards the crowd. I was watching Edge cut a promo yesterday, and he did really well. For nobody being there.
I agree.
But even Stone Cold, sometimes they just stumbled a little bit on their promo just because you're waiting for that crowd to react to what you're saying, But I don't know, man. I'm really interested to see what's going on, though, how they do that. But
Yeah.
that would be my idea. I would love for them to produce it kind of like it would be like a movie type of thing, and have people that are in your staff, some of the not known wrestlers be in the, in the crowd. And
This would be the time that I would not light up everything like they usually do.
no,
Right? This would be the time to turn down the lights.
Yep.
Put that spotlight on the ring.
on the ring, exactly.
Maybe make everything look a little interesting, but take away those damn seats.
Yep.
Because that's terrible. I will say that when I was watching The Undertaker react to AJ Styles and then I saw the Stone Cold promo, it felt really sad to see seats set up with no fans.
Yeah.
Take all of that away, make it an atmosphere, make it almost look like a video game stage.
Yeah.
Make it look like something. And then we might be able to do this.
It looked like a TNA show.
Jesus Christ.
We've been watching empty arena shows for a long time. It's called TNA.
I think I want to jump right into it and ask, what's over now?
Well, it's hard to say what's over now. Coronavirus is not over now. I'll tell you that. Yeah, man. What's over now is just, I would think, WrestleMania being, I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say, to be honest.
Well, the great part of, when we talk about what's over now, which was a segment created by you.
Yeah.
There's always a legend that we can talk about. This is a retro podcast.
Yeah.
And thankfully, this week we can still talk about legends because even though there's no fans involved, we did get Stone Cold Steve Austin on Raw.
Yeah.
We do have the rumor that American Badass Undertaker may be making a return. And he did kind of look a little bit like American Badass this time.
Yeah.
We do have Jake the Snake Roberts in AEW bringing out Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, there we go. Yeah.
Right? And then on SmackDown, was there any legends there?
Cena.
Right. Cena came out and he is a legend.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt and him had a little altercation, promo. So,
and also, right, this week was the debut of 316.
Yeah.
And Austin's episode on the Broken Skull podcast.
Yeah, which we watched really good.
With Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart has a huge part of the pay-per-view we're talking about today, which is WrestleMania 12.
Him and Shawn, yeah. No, it was a great, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely recommend watching the Broken Skull session with Bret Hart. He talks a lot about his match with Stone Cold. He talks about the Montreal Screwjob. He talks about his Iron match with with Shawn Michaels. It's a really, really good one. I think, to me, it's been the best one yet. He talks a little bit about Goldberg, too. But yeah, check it out.
In 1996, after all of the In Your Houses, which were terrible pay-per-views, WWE is trying to compete with WCW, who is legitimately scaring them. Nitro was a thing already. Raw is winning some weeks, losing some weeks. So we're moving full-fledged forward past Bret Hart with Shawn Michaels now.
Yeah.
And that brings us to WrestleMania 12, where these two guys who have competed against each other for the Tag Team Championship, for the Intercontinental Championship, for the World Championship 3 years prior in 1993, are now in an Iron Man match to prove who is the best. And that brings us to WrestleMania 12, where Vince McMahon believes he's pushing the new generation. But I've got something else to say about that when you watch this show.
Yeah.
In front of 18,000 fans in Anaheim, California, at the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim, we start WrestleMania 12 with a six-man tag featuring British Bulldog, Owen Hart, and WCW's Vader, taking on Ahmed Johnson, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Yokozuna. This match goes 13 minutes. How do you feel about the atmosphere, the way this pay-per-view looks?
It looks good. I mean, for that time. I'm not sure about that match, though. I mean, I don't feel like, was that a babyface Yokozuna?
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
He was a recently turned babyface Zuna.
Yeah, that's a really weird team. Ahmed Johnson, Roberts, and Yokozuna is a really weird team. I don't feel like that really meshed very well. Obviously, Bulldog and Owen Hart, part of the Hart Foundation. Vader is one of my all-time favorites. an amazing worker, man. For a guy being that big, you know, I think you put him in the class of like a Bam Bam Bigelow. You know, guys that are that big that can move. You know, and Vader can move.
I would put Vader as one of the all-time biggest big men.
Yeah.
For sure.
No
I would
doubt.
put him above Bam Bam. I know Bam Bam could move and all that, but I feel like Vader, man, he was a legit threat.
And he had that look, that mask. He just had the he had the look. He had the look.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of like alluding to what I mentioned earlier is like the new generation. I had been being pushed for a while now, right? 94, 95. We've teased Shawn Michaels being, you know, part of the top echelon, but we haven't really pulled the trigger on him until this show. But this is what always got me about this new generation. You've got Jake the Snake Roberts here.
Yeah.
You've got Jim Cornette. These are past relics, you know?
Yeah.
And it's brought up in this pay-per-view by Jerry the King Lawler and Vince McMahon occasionally, you know, about the Huckster and the Nacho Man, which was their commercials making fun of Hogan and Savage and, you know, WCW being for dinosaurs. But yet here we are in the opening match with Jim Cornette and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, and Roberts looks terrible, man. He's got, oh my God, he's got that attire that just makes him look like he's just hiding a lot of fat. But yeah, he doesn't look very good in this match.
Right. I mean, I thought Yoko was, his time in WWE was coming to an end.
Yeah.
That's for sure. He was let go this year, 1996. But he really, I mean, when you first saw Yoko in end of 92, early 93, you never thought you'd see anybody bigger. But he managed to get bigger through the years.
He did. He did. He got really, really big, and that's what, you know, led to, unfortunately, his death. You know, yeah, exactly. But another guy, man, that can, for a big guy, dude.
Yes, initially,
super kicks
yes.
Oh my God, dude, amazing. An amazing guy. But speaking of the new generation, I think that they featured Ahmed Johnson a lot in that match as well, which is probably one of Vince's, you know, projects. I mean, he had the look. I mean, the body that he had, forget it, man. He looked jacked. So that's what the type of wrestler that Vince likes.
As I mentioned last week, this was the first WrestleMania I saw since 9. Mm-hmm. I skipped over 10 and 11 because I just wasn't interested in anybody that was in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, when this pay-per-view opened up and I'm sitting there as a 10-year-old kid and I'm thinking, who the hell is this, you know, big dude? And he's pretty cool and, wow, he's powerful and he knows how to move. Like, okay, I might be into this guy. And I do remember thinking as a kid, what the hell happened to Jake? I didn't know who the hell Jim Cornette was, but I know Vader. I knew Vader. I saw him in clips on Saturday nights against Hogan and Sting. You know, and against Sting and all that stuff. I was like, wow, he's over here now. Because again, I didn't even watch WCW. I just saw clips and snippets every now and then.
I always thought it was weird when I saw him in WWE. I thought he was a WCW guy. You know,
he much like and nobody really understands this when I say it. Maybe you will. Vader to me feels like the other company guy.
Yeah. Right?
And so there's a guy today who's been there since he really became a wrestler. He was born and bred there. But to me, he's never felt like a WWE guy. I've always felt like if WCW was still around or if TNA got popular enough, this particular performer could have been there, and that's Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt. Randy Orton would have been their top guy. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Randy Orton would have been their top guy.
It's much like, Rick Rude.
Yep.
Even though our biggest memories of Rude are in the WWE, he really wasn't a WWE guy.
No.
He flourished at the top of WCW both times he went there, right? In the NWO, he just felt natural.
Yeah.
Even if you kind of take a look back at Rick Rude's return to DX, it almost felt like he was there and he didn't want to be there, or he was just like a statue there. He didn't mean anything.
He didn't do anything.
But when he came over to WCW and was in the NWO, he stood out with his buddy Kurt Hennig. He was looser. When he did something, he looked like a threat. So again, somebody like Rick Rude, Randy Orton, Vader as well felt like he's another company guy. He's not a WWE guy.
I agree, 100%. 100%.
The Bulldog, Owen Hart, and Vader defeat the team of Ahmed Johnson, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Yokozuna after some distractions, and Vader takes out Jake Roberts. What is that? What's that move that he does? Off the second rope. Is it a Vader bomb? I think he had several moves that he called the Vader bomb.
Yeah, his power bomb was the Vader bomb too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So they take it in 13 minutes, and then we move forward to what should have been Scott Hall versus Goldust, but we end up with Roddy Piper versus Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl. And actually, this worked out a lot better.
I loved it. Because Piper, bro. It's Piper. Piper, the way that they shot this was like I told you, it was kind of like a movie. It was exactly like a movie. And what better guy to have, in that program than a guy that was done Hollywood movies? Piper did, They Live. He's done movies, so this worked perfect, man.
Yeah, man. I think that while I love the idea of Scott Hall and machismo and the androgynous, which is only a word that Vince McMahon could use.
Yeah.
We would never use that word if he never used it. And Goldust coming on to the machismo of Razor Ramon, I get that. But I also like that since he was always teasing about Hollywood, which, did you ever get that connection of Goldust being Hollywood?
Well, if you think about it, the gold could
The
be
Golden
like
Globe, like an award.
the Oscar is gold,
Right.
So I could see that.
I guess so. Yeah, and then you're right. It just mixed in perfectly with Piper, who was always in and out. I mean, we're in 96, and he first retired in 87 at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
Right? And here we are 9 years later, and he's having a match at WrestleMania still. And it has to do with his, B movie career.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm not knocking him because he actually
talk bad about Daylight.
Well, I've never seen it.
What?
Yeah.
Stop the podcast. I'm done. I quit. I'm walking out.
I've never seen it, man.
It's a good movie.
They Live, Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of those movies. I've always seen Piper's. I saw Body Slam.
Yeah.
Right? And I've
Sure.
seen like High Tides and Jungle Ground is one of my favorite movies. B movies from him. He suplexes somebody on a car. There's a bunch of cool movies he's got, right?
Yeah.
He's not holding back on
No.
Dustin. He is like full-fledged knocking the shit out of Dustin.
Yeah. That this program for sure wouldn't fly today.
Oh, no.
They'll be like, oh no, he's homophobic. It's like that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fly today.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to get any more heat than I already got.
Of course not.
For most things. But yeah, there's a lot of that where he's going to make a man out of him. If you want to touch something, I got something for you to touch. And,
Yep.
And literally, like, this match starts basically in the back lot, almost in the back alley of the arena. Of course, this was filmed at a different time, not at the time that they're showing it live, supposedly.
Yeah.
But the gold car, if you've never seen this, the gold car pulls in. He looks like he's about to... Goldust, by the way. He looks like he's about to run Piper over, but he doesn't. He stops. Piper has a bat in his hand. He fully busts open the windows, which is pretty scary.
It is.
Because he's swinging.
Yeah.
He's going for it. And the entire thing is basically taken over for 16 minutes by Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Piper is just, like I said, beating the shit out of Dustin. He punches him for real. He does some really terrible body slams and so forth like that. He actually at one point opens up the hose on him, which is crazy.
It's a good match.
Rams his head into the garbage cans. And by the end of it, finally at one point, after slipping and sliding and all that stuff, Dustin does get the best of Piper, slams him into the corner as well. And then gets back in his car and does run over Piper, who does his own stunt and lands on the hood of the car.
Yeah, it was perfectly done.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good production, man. Good production value. That's what I want from this year's WrestleMania. When I talk about that, when I talk about what I want to see, that's what I want to see. That type of production value, So, here's hoping.
Right. And so, from my understanding, just to backtrack slightly, not only was it supposed to be Scott Hall versus Goldust, but the Hollywood backlot brawl was supposed to be between Roddy Piper and O.J. Simpson.
Oh my God! Did Razor get hurt? Is that why he couldn't wrestle?
No, Razor didn't agree with the storyline. He didn't understand why Goldust would be after him.
Right.
And all you have to do is just point it. I mean, we obviously know why.
Right.
Goldust is one way, and he's after machismo. That's why he's after him. He has an attraction to him.
Right.
But he didn't get it. He was like, this isn't wrestling. We shouldn't be shooting angles like this. I don't want anything to do with it.
Got it.
So that's what happened. And instead of letting him be on the show, because he was still on contract to the WWE here, they took WrestleMania away from him.
Well, that's a big payday too, man.
Yeah, they punished him.
Wow. Yikes.
For saying no.
Yeah. That's rough. I mean, you would think, well, a lot of wrestlers have, like Bret Hart, when he was talking about he has creative control of his own character, so I don't know. Yeah.
After he runs down Piper, Piper falls off the hood, and Goldust tries to get away, and of course, Roddy Piper in a white Bronco reminiscent of the OJ scene on the news goes after him. And throughout all the matches that we're going to talk about until they come back to the ring later on in the arena, you see these shots from a helicopter of the white Bronco, very very reminiscent of the news.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, very poor taste. There was no need to do that.
I thought it was funny.
Whatever. There we go. They filmed it for you then.
Thank you.
Next up we've got a very young in his WWE tenure, not young in age, but Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Savio Vega. This match goes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This is not something I would ever watch.
No, I mean, but Stone Cold says he loves actually wrestling Savio Vega. He said he was one of his favorite opponents. But yeah, looking back now, Savio Vega was not very.
Well, there's nothing particularly wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have any investment in Austin.
It's a mid-card match.
I don't have any investment in Savio. I don't care. I don't want to see you guys.
And this is Ringmaster Stone Cold. This is not like,
Well, he's introduced as Stone Cold.
Right, but his gimmick is still, it's not really a Stone Cold gimmick, He still uses the Cobra Clutch, and it's not the Stone Cold that you're thinking of.
Right.
It's a different version of Stone Cold, so.
Yeah, that match goes 10 minutes. There's not much to call out there. There's not too much to call out there. And Austin goes over after he defeats Savio Vega. And then we've got what I really wanted to watch this show for.
Here we go.
Which was the return of the Ultimate Warrior against none other than Triple H with the debut of Sable, who's not a big part yet. But before we even talk about that, right, I want to actually say something about Sable. She looks gorgeous here.
Beautiful, brother.
Like within 6 months, it's almost as if she would just like really, really get skinny, overly skinny, maybe because she's working out too much. Mm-hmm. But here she still has a little bit of plumpness to her skin. This doesn't even look like the Sable that we would see in the WWE, 6 months to a year later.
I agree. Yeah, she looks completely different, but wow, what a bombshell.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, Triple H was having different valets with him every single night. One thing that I caught, and I'm pretty sure that they instructed her to do this, but she never takes her eyes off of Triple H. She looks mesmerized. She looks like she's just, gazing and in love with him. Yeah. That's perfect, dude.
She's just staring at how big his nose is. That's what it is.
There you go.
What a schnoz.
Yeah. I love Jerry the King Lawler on commentary here saying, nobody has seen the Warrior. I heard he stopped working out. That he's 600 pounds.
Yeah.
You're used to seeing him run, but he may hobble out here. I loved it. I thought that was great.
Look at Sable held the ring rope open for Triple H. What a heel move. What do you think about his entrance? I don't mean to cut
Triple H?
No, a Warrior.
The Warrior, I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
I thought it was awesome. Apparently, there's this light up firework thing that they used for the Warrior logo, which honestly had to be a lot of money for them at the time.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty damn cool. Today, they would probably use those 3D effects that they use. But they had a physical one back then. And Warrior legitimately had not been seen in wrestling, in the mainstream at least, since 1992. He had made some sporadic appearances in Las Vegas and for smaller organizations. He had done his Warrior University. He had done his comic book.
Yeah.
For the Ultimate Warrior. He had his own... Warrior, of course, had his own catalog that he would send out to people.
He looks small.
He's in the best shape of his life here. This is better than 1990.
He looks small, though.
He's not small. He's huge.
He looks skinny. Look at him.
No. 98 Warrior is skinny.
Yeah.
96 Warrior is jacked.
I love that attire, though.
Yeah, the blue and
orange. That's phenomenal. I wonder if they have an action figure like that.
They do have an action figure, but it's not from this. It's not from Mattel.
Okay.
It's from the one Jax.
Jax
has two action figures with him like that.
That would be awesome because that looks really cool.
Yeah, the Warrior makes his return with a duster. Again, we're pushing the new generation, but we keep on harking back to guys from the past.
He was still over.
Yes, absolutely. I heard that he made his own art as well.
I could believe it.
Like those Warrior drawings, that those were his drawings.
Dude, that looks like Dragon Ball Z.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah, his character on the back of his which is him. He looks like freaking Dragon Ball, like Goku.
At this point, he even has at this point too, Warrior even has a tattoo of himself on his arm.
Was it a real tattoo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I think he looks skinny here. I don't think he looks like when I remember him when he was super jacked up.
I think he's bigger here than when he was. I mean, of course, he may not have the same definition. We're talking about, 6 years removed from his peak.
Right.
But he is bigger than we would see him in 92, and he is bigger than he was in 98.
Okay. He got that freaking tan.
This match goes 1 minute and 39 seconds. There's a couple of attacks, and then the pedigree in which...
What a no-sell, huh?
There's an absolute no-sell. I guarantee you that would not happen today.
Hell no. Especially with Triple H, with who he is now.
Right.
Like, you're going to do what?
Well, the backstage story, I've never taken offense to the story. I've never understood why Triple H felt bad.
He's going way too fast.
And that's Warrior.
Yeah.
Right? That's all everybody has ever said. But the backstage story is what? Triple H goes over to talk to Warrior to say, hey, I was thinking we can do this, and this. Tries to map it out. And he goes, absolutely not. What is going to happen is I'm going to go into the ring. You'll attack me. Give me whatever the hell your finish is. I'm going to get up. And we're going into the finish. Now get out of my sights. And apparently he went back and told Pat Patterson, hey, I tried to approach him and talk to him about the match, and he vetoed everything and just told me to get out of his face. So then Pat comes back and talks to Warrior, and Warrior apparently told Pat, get out of the way, and puts his finger in Triple H's face and says, if you ever have something to say to me, you come to me directly. You don't bring Pat into this. Now we're doing what I said and get out of here. And that was it. And for years, Triple H was like, he's the most unprofessional fucking dick I've ever worked with.
He ain't wrong.
But I agree with Warrior. That's the way it should have been. You don't have ideas.
Get the fuck out of here. How can you defend them?
Brother, you come into the locker room and you ask Warrior, what do you want to do tonight? That's it. And based off of what Warrior says, you say, no problem, brother. Good to work with you, and get the fuck out.
We're going to do this. Get out of my dressing room.
That's it. You don't make suggestions to Warrior.
Wow.
And you don't go to Pat Patterson to fix the suggestions that he made. I agree with Warrior, 100%.
Okay. Sure.
That's the way you do things.
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
That's the way you do things. So Warrior goes over, rightfully so. And then we pan over to a backstage segment between... Todd Pettingill, which I've never liked him.
Oh, he was terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
He was just as bad as Mike Adamle. Remember Mike Adamle? He would always fuck up people's names. Jeff Hardy, Jeff Harvey.
I've only seen snippets of that because I wasn't watching that at that time anymore.
Yeah.
But he's interviewing the wild man, Mark Merrill. Oh, as we spoke about in this podcast previously, Vince McMahon could not get the rights to Johnny B. Bad, who he thought he was signing, and instead they had to come up with a gimmick name, which became the Wild Man. And you know what's crazy? Is again, kind of like we spoke about this, Ric Flair felt different. Same thing here. This is Johnny B. Bad, but he doesn't look like Johnny B. Bad. He doesn't, he's doing this wild man opening his eyes thing. I don't know why the fuck that means you're wild, because you opened your eyes widely. But it's just, it doesn't feel right.
Doesn't at all. Like you said, I think Vince thought he was getting Johnny B. Bad, and once he got this guy, he's like, oh shit. It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, exactly, and that's gonna set up the next feud, and the debut of Wildman Mark Merrill. His first opponent is gonna be Triple H, and that's set up literally minutes from the ending of Triple H being beat by the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I mentioned to you before we even turned on the podcast. This show is heavily edited.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell they're cutting time, and I guess maybe they did things with longer periods before, but this show is only 2 hours and 48 minutes, and an hour plus, around 67 minutes, to 70 minutes of that is just the main event.
Yeah.
So things are cut down a lot. Next up, we're going to go to the dead man, The Undertaker, taking on
Big Sexy
Kevin Nash. I do not like the name Big Daddy Cool. That seems like such a Vince thing.
I don't know.
I could hear him. He's big. He's cool. He's Big Daddy Cool. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. This is Big Sexy Kevin Nash, and he's acting like Big Sexy.
He is.
This isn't the Nash that was there a year ago trying to cut the promos that Vince encouraged him to cut. This is Kevin Nash.
Yeah. He's got his tights say Big D. I love it. Yeah. Kevin Nash looks like a star, man.
Doesn't he?
Oh, man.
I'm waiting to see, because I mean, if you're not reminded of Roman Reigns when you see Kevin Nash, or reverse, granted, Roman Reigns doesn't feel or look like Kevin Nash, but he looks like Diesel.
Yeah.
There's a similarity to
but
Diesel.
But he doesn't have the charisma.
But he could. Yeah. We've seen him.
If they let him be himself.
Right? That's what I'm trying to say.
They're not letting him do it.
But that's what I'm getting to, is that a year prior, 2 years prior, these promos with Nash felt, or Diesel, these promos with Diesel felt very WWF.
Scripted.
Yeah. Right? And then here, a month away from leaving the WWF, you can tell this is the same Kevin Nash we got in WCW.
100%.
He's cool. He's relaxed. He's not yelling. He's not trying to impress you. He is being the NWO Kevin Nash, suave, cool, all that shit. Why can't they let Reigns do it? Because Reigns could pull this shit off if you just let him be.
I want you to see Reigns' work in NXT when he was working as a heel. Phenomenal. Like, you're like, where is this guy? Like, the cockiness, the way that he... I mean, dude, just amazing. They gotta let him do that, but they're not.
Right. The night after WrestleMania, when he had beat The Undertaker, and he came out and he couldn't say anything, and the fans were just like...
that was it.
Doing it. That's that facial expression, that aura that he had that night, that's who should be main eventing WWE shows.
And it was perfect. He said one thing. He said, "It's my yard now," and he dropped the mic. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they fucking blew it.
Yep.
They blew it.
They could have went with that. Just let him be cocky and don't, and then they turned him back into Superman.
If they would have just made him a heel right then and there, forget it. Hottest thing since Stone Cold.
Well, I don't know about that, but he was hot.
Yeah.
He was hot. He could. I think that if they would have followed that up correctly, he could have been in the talks of the biggest superstars that WWE has ever made.
But they never pulled the trigger, man.
No, they stayed on the safe side.
Yep. It backfired on them.
Right. They stayed safe. Now this match, I'm not exactly sure what led to Nash taking on Undertaker, but I know that Nash was in a steel cage match with Bret Hart, and then he got dragged down by Taker. But what's the point of Taker? Why? Why did Taker drag him down?
I honestly don't remember. I do remember, though, when there was a segment where there was a casket by the ring, and Kevin Nash opens the casket, and the guy that was in that casket looked exactly like him. I wish I knew who the hell that was.
Well, was it a guy, or was it just like a wax?
It looked like a guy. It looked like a legit person.
Might have been a wax figure.
Maybe, but it looked exactly like him. I was like, wow, holy shit. That was pretty cool.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I wish we didn't have the slow Undertaker at this point.
Yeah.
I wish like a year later he would start moving more, a little bit more. But here this is a slow match.
It's
Goddamn.
two big guys, bro.
Yeah.
It's when you put Undertaker with, like, say, a Shawn Michaels, a Bret Hart, guys that can move, or even Diesel, it's always going to be a better match. But two big guys, it's like, bro.
Well, as we know, I mean, Undertaker's he can move.
He can, yeah.
And then he was limited by his character here not to move, which means we're dependent on Nash being the excitement. And we all know
he's got 5 moves.
Nash is not going to be exciting.
He's not.
He's a very reactive wrestler.
Right.
He's not proactive. He's reactive. So now we've got 2 wrestlers in the ring who both just react. That's not good.
But I thought it was a good match, though.
Yeah, for what it is.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I mean, Seen the Undertaker take the jackknife
3 times.
3 times, dude. The choke slam he hit Nash was not that good though.
He put him down like a baby.
That was a terrible choke slam. But the tombstone, the way he did it, like from the side, kind of, that was pretty cool. Cause like, damn, Kevin Nash is a really big dude. Undertaker couldn't do that tombstone right now to a big guy. Look what he almost killed Goldberg.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't like or care about Undertaker still at this point.
Yeah. Look how much bigger Diesel looks than Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, Nash is big, man.
He's a big dude, man. But yeah, I didn't like Undertaker's. I didn't even like his attire. I thought it was kind of
the whole purple.
Yeah, the purple.
I like the black and purple versus the black and gray.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't think it would have looked good if you had black and gray because Nash is wearing kind of like a black and.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like previously he debuted this black and purple look at the SummerSlam that I attended.
Right.
In '94.
When it was 2 Undertakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the old, the fake Undertaker, Chains, or whatever the fuck his name was, he had on the black and gray.
Wasn't it Brian Lee?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Lee was a...
Yeah, it's one of those dudes. And
dude, he looked just like him.
He did his best. That was
really
that was
good.
perfect.
I got a question for you. Do you think Taker is tarnishing his legacy by coming back and doing all these matches that he's doing now?
He should have left after the retirement.
Which one?
I'm sorry, after his streak ended.
So versus Brock?
Yeah, that
Okay.
should have been over right there. Not to say he never could have had a match again, but if we would have had 3 or 4 WrestleManias without Undertaker, and then he came back to face The Fiend or, whoever, right? Roman Reigns, then I think he would have been invited back with open arms and like, yes, man, it's a legend. And, got back his wins, to be honestly, for a year or two. But for him to continue to come back as he has because of Vince McMahon, as he's made it very clear, like he was going to end it that year. Yeah. That was it. Like, oh, well, once that decision was made, I guess it's over. And then Vince called him up like nothing. Like, yeah, come back. I need you.
Yeah.
No, WrestleMania, I'm sorry. Again, you guys are going to disagree, many of you. But WrestleMania doesn't need Undertaker at this point.
No.
The point of having Taker at Mania was ended when Brock beat him.
Forgot to mention this on the What's Over Now segment, but you got to hear the promo that AJ cut on him. It was freaking great. He called him by his real name, too. He called him Mark.
Right.
He's like, oh, it's WrestleMania season. Undertaker's got to show up, and he's got to, like, take the spotlight away from somebody. It was pretty good, bro. It was actually pretty good. So him and AJ will have an 8-minute match. And it'll be AJ, I think, taking a lot of punches. AJ basically taking he'll be taking all of Undertaker's offense. He'll go for the phenomenal forearm. He'll get caught with the choke slam and then tombstone, and the match is over.
Right.
Like, it's not going to be a long match, and it shouldn't be.
No.
You got to take advantage of AJ's athleticism and stuff, but it can't be a long match, bro. It's got to be a Goldberg match for him. But who goes over?
AJ.
Over Undertaker?
Absolutely.
You're out of your mind.
Dude, I'm not saying that'll make AJ, because at this point there's nothing that's going to make AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a star.
Yeah.
He's not going to become a legend because of one match. It's going to be his overall history. In my opinion, Undertaker has nothing to gain by beating AJ Styles. But AJ could have a possible 6-month run at the top if he beats Undertaker. So he does have something to gain by beating Undertaker. It's not what it once was, right? You're not ending the streak.
Yeah.
And you're not beating a fully able Undertaker. But it is something that's going to be looked at and talked about for many years to come. I think what they couldn't do with Bray Wyatt years ago, what they attempted to do with Roman Reigns, needs to be attempted again, but with AJ Styles.
Okay, so he wins this match. Let's say he wins this match. Are we predicting that McIntyre beats Lesnar?
Yeah, absolutely. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked.
I don't think he's gonna win.
For real?
I don't think he's gonna win. I think Vince, now that all this shit is going on right now, yeah, listen to this, people. And if I'm wrong, I mean, whatever, I'll eat crow. But I'm telling you right now, don't be shocked if Brock beats McIntyre because of what's going on right now. Because he can't. How are you going to build a star with empty arenas. You're going to have your champion be a guy that everybody knows. Vince, I'm telling you, man, do not be surprised if Drew McIntyre loses to Brock Lesnar.
I just got to cut the podcast for a quick second and say, you're here this week with a bunch of ideas, and I dig it, man. From the way that WrestleMania should be shot to you going the opposite way with this who should win at Mania. I'm here for it, man. I love these new things because I didn't think about any of this stuff.
Yeah. You got to think of it in Vince's mind. What is he thinking with everything that's going on right now? Like I said, how do you build a star with no fans? You're going to make that guy your champion without building him up? You know?
They have to heavily rely right now on their network.
Yeah.
And their social media. Heavily. There's a lot of vignettes that should be happening and filmed right now. There's a lot of shit, man.
Yeah. Good old-fashioned promos.
Yeah.
Good old-fashioned.
Big time, dude.
You could be doing that. You could be building stars with promos right now. You got all the time in the world to make sure everything goes smooth. If you wanna pre-produce it, if you wanna write it out for them and make it perfect, do that now. Now that you can't really have matches, let's have backstories. Let's have vignettes. You know, that's the problem with a lot of the wrestlers now that Vince has brought up from NXT. There's never any build up to these guys. They just bring them up, throw them on TV. Like, here's these guys. You know, not everybody watches NXT.
Right.
Like, who the hell is Aleister Black and Ricochet? When they brought them up, like, who the hell are these guys? They made them a tag team. You know, so I think this might be a blessing in disguise as far as, obviously not the virus, I'm not talking about that, but like what's going on now as far as with the empty arenas and everything, it's going to really, I think, shift the wrestling business, man. And there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be done different, which may be for the better because what we've gotten lately hasn't been very good.
Absolutely. Well, this match ends with Undertaker, of course, winning. His streak was not ended by Kevin Nash. To me, Kevin Nash did an awesome job working with Taker.
Yeah.
I just loved how cocky he was. We didn't get Diesel here. We got Kevin Nash, and I appreciate that.
16-minute match. I mean, for two big guys like that to go that long, I mean, yeah, sure, they got some spots where it's like a little bear hug spot and here and there, which you gotta have it. For two big guys like that, you gotta have a match. You gotta have a spot like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He goes over with the tombstone. Both guys combined weight, honestly, they're in the 600s. Gotta be. Because fucking Nash is huge. But then we go into what this whole event was built upon, which was the launching of Shawn Michaels as the head of the company. Now, they've introduced Jose Lothario into the mix here. I gotta ask you, man, did you feel that Jose Lothario did anything for the Shawn Michaels character?
Nothing. He was so boring and bland. You know, I don't even think Shawn Michaels really wanted him there, honestly.
He never looked like he did.
Yeah. He never looked like he wanted him there. It's like, oh, you're taking the spotlight away from me. You know, I mean, I don't think he had any place in this feud, but the match itself, I'm going to say is one of the top 3 matches I've ever seen. 2 of the best to ever do it. I mean, when you think of 2 actual workers, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, to me, are right up there.
Yeah, I agree with you with them being 2 of the best workers. I would put Michaels and Undertaker before this, and I would put Steamboat and Flair at Chi-Town Rumble before this as well.
Okay.
89. But this match, 60 minutes, it is so slow. And I get it. I know. Yeah. As a worker, I understood. Like
I'm saying, you know it has to be.
Yeah, I understand you have to, hey, we got to start this off slow, man, because we got 60 minutes. I know how I would talk to somebody in the back and say, what do you want to do to waste time? Because we got to, like,
this match is literally, really, in real time, is really like a 20-minute match.
Yes, it is like a 20-minute match. But I got to be honest with you. Around the 20-minute mark of this match, I knocked out. I fell asleep. And my girlfriend's over here like, you're snoring.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh. No offense to these guys. Of course, and before we even proceed into going into this match, we got to talk about the setup, though. The promo for this. Shawn Michaels is quick as a cat. He's the Rocky Balboa getting ready for everything.
Yep.
And Bret Hart is the old man who's jogging on ice in Canada.
Yeah, and I don't think he knew it at the time, but that was kind of probably the Vince's way of trying to bury him too, as far as saying like, you know, out with the old and with the new. Yeah, look at these vignettes of Shawn Michaels training.
At the time, I'm not sure if fans were, hot onto what the WWE way of pushing somebody is. But holy shit, this is like custom made when you look back at it.
Yeah.
This is ultimately pushing custom made for Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. This is what we need more of now.
Yeah, this is what you would need now.
This is what you need now, man. You want to build a star, do things like this, bro. Like, what I hate seeing, see if they got his dad stretching him in the dungeon.
That's the thing, is in these promos, his dad is kicking his ass versus Shawn is kicking everybody else's ass.
Yeah, his dad's just stretching him. It's pretty funny.
But I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I will say, both of these guys were having the best matches at the time.
I agree. And I think, and as far as like their physique, I mean, their shape, the best shape of their lives, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
It's hard, man. It's really hard for me. Right now, I can look at them and say they're champions. But back then, I couldn't look at Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and say, these guys are in the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah.
These guys? Like, the last WrestleMania I remember was Hulk Hogan and Psycho Sid. There's big guys. These are champions. Now, these Intercontinental guys are main eventing Mania.
It was the shift. That was where the business was going at the time, where with these more smaller athletic wrestlers instead of the big powerhouses that, we were used to seeing.
Right.
So, but yeah, like, in my mind, this is like, if this was Intercontinental Championship, perfect. Like the working man's title, right? That's what they call it, the Intercontinental Championship. You got Steamboat, Savage, Shawn Michaels, the working man's title. That this would have been great. If it was Intercontinental, it would have been great too. But it was a shift, man. It was a shift in the business.
It really was. As we mentioned, one of the most spectacular entrances in pro wrestling history, not even WrestleMania history, but pro wrestling history, is Shawn Michaels rappelling from the top. Of course, Bret Hart just comes out normally through the... There's no special attraction, nothing special about Bret in this match. Nothing is pushed towards Bret. What I was very interested in is that after they, take off their stuff, their entrance attire, and they're staring at each other, right? And Earl Hebner is telling them what to do and the rules of the match.
Yeah.
Bret looks very cocky. Throughout this entire match, Bret is cocky.
Yeah.
He's a very cocky babyface, and that's not something I'm used to seeing with Bret.
Yeah, I mean, he's just cocky in general. Remember when we were watching the Broken Skull Sessions? He's talking about, himself and how he's the shit, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody puts themselves over more than Bret Hart.
Yeah.
All you have to do is ask Bret Hart. But it's not that. It's just I'm saying from a character standpoint, I've never seen him act like this.
Yeah.
And again, I wasn't watching, right? But after this, I would watch, and I don't remember him being this cocky, like smiling. He's talking to himself, kind of making comments and snickering to himself after Shawn Michaels does something to him.
Yeah.
Even after he does something to Shawn, it's just like, ha, yeah, I got you. And maybe that's a little bit of the real Bret Hart coming out.
Maybe.
Because he's always had to be this, selling babyface. Here, he's not selling much.
Yeah.
He's just reacting.
Maybe that's how they wanted him to be. Maybe Vince told him, I want you to act a little bit more heelish and get Shawn over as a baby. That could be it too. Could
be. Shawn, by the way, I'm not sure how much of this match was led by Shawn. It almost feels like it was entirely kind of led by Bret.
Yeah.
But he does a very good job of keeping up with Bret. Even though when Bret tells the story, he says that he had to keep up with Shawn.
Yeah. Which I believe more. I believe he had to keep up with Shawn because Shawn Michaels, man, can go. He can go, but so can Bret.
Well, at the end of this, it doesn't look like Bret is nearly as exhausted as Shawn is.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because Shawn was doing more, high.
Way more high spots.
Yeah, he was doing a lot more high spots than Bret was. Again, as we mentioned before, the first 40 minutes of this match is pretty much nothing but rest holds. You don't expect the fans to be on their feet for an hour-long match. Absolutely not.
No.
But there are a couple standouts. And there's that one moment where Shawn goes over the top, not just the ropes, but over the top of the post and lands on the floor.
That was a hellacious.
Yeah, he ends up hitting the cameraman.
Yeah.
There's another spot on the outside where he kind of tosses Hart into the ring.
Yep.
What is that? The whatever.
Timekeeper. Yeah, timekeeper.
And then super kicks the timekeeper.
That was great.
Right? One of the things I wanted to mention is as I watch Shawn Michaels, I can't help but think of Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And to think, God damn, man, whoever's fault it is, I don't know whose fault it is, whether it's WWE's fault or Ziggler's fault, but they legitimately had a new generation Shawn Michaels and fucked it up.
Yeah. Well, I think Ziggler's downfall is that he's too good at making other people look good.
Mm-hmm.
And once they see that, they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to put you in there with our stars and you're going to make them look like $1 million, but you're not going to be the star. So he's kind of a victim of his own success,
I've heard that. I've heard
So,
that. There's been several interviews where, Bruce Pritchard and others have said, you want to be good, but if you're too good, then we might just put you there to put other people over.
Yeah, that's the problem. That right there's the problem. But as far as there's nobody right now that sells as good as Dolph Ziggler.
No, and that's been for years.
Yeah,
that's easily 8-9 years.
Yeah, he's one of the best to ever do it. Heel Shawn Michaels is the best Shawn Michaels. What do you think?
Heel Shawn Michaels? Yeah, absolutely.
He's the best.
He's absolutely the best when he's a heel.
Yeah.
Obviously we know who wins this. We've been saying it the whole time. It's custom built for Shawn Michaels. He's going to be the head of the company, and really at a bad time. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't know it yet, but the NWO was right around the corner.
That was it.
Now this very same month, right? You've got WrestleMania 12 versus WCW Uncensored, and the main event of WCW Uncensored this year was Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage taking on the Allegiance to end Hulkamania in a 3 or 4 tiered steel cage.
Yeah.
Now at that time, I can easily understand while these guys are bringing back Zeus and have Hogan and Savage together, which is 7 years old at this point. We're gonna put over Shawn Michaels. We're gonna blow them out of the water. Again, a month later, they did not know that they would lose Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and that old man that they were making fun of was going to change the business forever.
Yeah.
And Shawn was left with that. Shawn was, had to go against the NWO. He was not going to take over that. No. He was not going to defeat the NWO.
There's no way. I mean, sure, DX, they formed DX. Which
but that wouldn't be till next year.
Right. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think that right now we're watching WWE. Even though, as Bret Hart says, like WCW is just full of a bunch of idiots. So that's really the reason that they didn't, beat WWE. But damn, they had them worried. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. And Shawn, many people have looked back at this run that Shawn had and just said like it was kind of doomed.
Yeah.
It was doomed
from the beginning. Yeah, it was.
Because again, you've got a guy being a babyface, which the crowd was pushing for him to be a babyface. It wasn't a lot of guys who were pushing for Shawn. It was mainly women and children, which that's where your money is. I get it. But guys did like Bret Hart.
Yeah. Kids loved Bret Hart.
Kids loved him and women loved him.
Women loved him, but he was loved worldwide, which is the thing. So he was huge in Canada. He was huge in Germany. So...
Yeah, I've heard he's pretty big over in Africa and some other spots too.
Yeah, they loved him internationally as well. Shawn Michaels is not a person that people loved internationally, No,
there wasn't that appeal about Shawn. Shawn had an appeal, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it was an American crowd that...
Big time.
Loved Shawn.
Big time. As a Iron Man match goes, it's 60 minutes, or it could be even 20 minutes, but this one is set for 60 minutes. And the person that gets the most wins at the end is the total winner. Well, by the end of the 60 minutes, neither man has a pin, a submission, or a count out or a DQ on their list. So they're 0-0. The match really does pick up when there's like 8 minutes left, which is crazy. That you have to pick up your pace at 8 minutes after you've been going for 52.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But the last 8 to 10 minutes of this match is really thrilling, really exciting. And there's a moment there where you think it's all over, which is when Shawn Michaels, with 30 seconds left, jumps off the top rope and gets caught in the sharpshooter.
Yeah, he gets him in the sharpshooter, which I'm shocked that Bret Hart would agree to having a guy be this long in his hold and not submit. Because it kind of makes the move look weak, don't you think?
I could see what you mean. Like, if it was like 20 seconds, 15 seconds, fine. But 30
seconds is a lot. Like,
it's a long time.
Like we were talking about being in that move. Like, having somebody put that move on you. Does that not hurt?
Yes, it does.
Exactly.
It takes away your breath.
Yeah, so for you to be in that move for that long, I'm shocked that Bret Hart agreed to it and said, all right, sure. But
I'm sure they spoke to each other and said, yeah, towards the end, we'll figure it out. But, we'll be in that hold for as long as it takes. It does hurt the move.
It hurts the move. Hurts the move. Absolutely. Like, something that would have been great, that would have worked, I think, would have been that he puts him in, let's say 20 seconds max. Right at 21, Shawn Michaels is tapping out. You know what I mean?
You mean after?
After the matches, it's
they couldn't do that.
It's an hour, and
they couldn't do it. They wanted Shawn to be Rocky, never give up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right. Well, once the timer does go out and he's in the sharpshooter, I love that Bret takes his belt and he's like, "All right, fuck it, I'm done with it. It's over."
Yeah.
Gorilla Monsoon comes out and declares that the match needs to go on. Sudden death rules, and they go on for about another minute or so. And of course, it's two super kicks. The first one doesn't get it done because he doesn't actually get over to him to cover him in time. But the second super kick definitely gets it done.
Yeah, you could tell this is kind of if Bret Hart can say this is a screw job.
It really was.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this was the stipulation. We never agreed to sudden death. This was not in the contract. He could have said that.
And this was, he did say that. When he came back, he was like, I was screwed out of the title for Shawn Michaels, and then at the Royal Rumble, I was screwed again by Stone Cold.
Yep.
And then I didn't get my main event at WrestleMania 13 because I was screwed over again by, Shawn and his pussyfoot injury, as he said.
Yep.
It's true. There was all the ingredients for a heel turn were here.
Yeah. True. Yeah. This was, I think, so would you say this is like the genesis of the Bret Hart, shift to turning into
Absolutely.
a heel? Okay.
Absolutely. It would take a whole year, but
there you go.
All the seeds are there.
Yeah.
And they're actually warranted. You would get tired of this shit.
Yeah.
We know another.
So is he really a heel when you think about it?
That's what it is.
It's a great story. It's like, is he really a bad guy? Like when he was talking about when he fought Stone Cold and he kicked his ass and he did all these heel moves to him, he's like, I was just giving him what he deserved. Why am I getting booed? And it's like, damn, at the time you don't think that way, but now you look at it like, yeah, it's true. At
the time, did you see this WrestleMania?
I did. Absolutely. I think I've seen every WrestleMania as it happened.
When you saw Shawn Michaels win,
I wasn't happy. I was a Bret Hart fan.
I'm kind of with you. I wasn't a Bret Hart guy. I was neither one of them, to be honest with you. I love both of the guys now, but back then, I just saw it as, whatever. They're trying more stuff. Yeah. Like the same way I felt when they tried Bret Hart as champion in 93 was the same way I felt when they tried Shawn Michaels. Like, oh, whatever. They're doing something new.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy, man. I wasn't happy that that Shawn beat Bret. I really wasn't. I thought Bret was the better man.
Dude, and he had every right to be pissed because he stopped there to give a handshake to Shawn Michaels, and Shawn tells Earl Hebner, tell him to get the fuck out of my ring.
Yeah. Yep, look at how pissed he is.
He had every right to be pissed off, dude, and upset.
No respect. No respect for him.
No, apparently, according to Bret and according to other people who were there that night, they say Bret went backstage, packed his bag, got in his car, and left. Didn't even change out of his gear.
Really?
Yeah, he just left the arena.
Wow. Yeah, Shawn Michaels was a real POS back in the...
Well, that was a sign of things to come, dude.
Yeah.
You know how pissed Bret felt after that?
Yeah.
After giving somebody 61 minutes of your life in the best match you could possibly give to them.
Yeah, and putting them over.
Putting you over, and that's what you have to say? Tell him to get the fuck out of my ring? That's tough, man.
Yeah. I would have kicked his ass in the back. Fuck it. Wait for him and beat his ass.
That's really tough. Well, WrestleMania 12 is in the books for us, man, and I'm going to say that the most over AF wrestler of this pay-per-view was the Ultimate Warrior, man.
Yeah, boo.
Always believe.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to say it was Goldust.
What?
What? Yeah, Goldust is over, man.
Goldust is the most over guy here.
Absolutely.
It's not Shawn Michaels.
Nah.
It's not Bret Hart.
Nope.
It's not even Roddy Piper.
It's a Jose Lothario. I'm changing my. Nah, it's definitely Shawn Michaels, 100%.
Would you put this WrestleMania as one of the top 10?
No. Mm-mm.
But man, we're gonna go back to 1989 next week. The Mega Powers explode.
Oh my God.
On OverAF. Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, and Miss Elizabeth is caught in the middle.
Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite memories when I was growing up watching wrestling was that match right there. Betting my mom, I remember she was like, Macho Man's going to win. And I was like, nope, it's going to be Hulk. Never went against Hulk Hogan. I won $20. I was the happiest ever.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was, to me, I was so heavily invested in that storyline. Because when you look at it now, was Macho Man really in the wrong here? Think about it.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. But you're not thinking about that, you know.
No, at the time, you're just like, you know, what's his problem?
Right.
You know, what's his problem? Hogan is just trying to be a good guy.
Yeah.
And we could still make that argument today, but as we're adults now and we've, you know, gone through relationships and had friendships torn apart or break apart or just go by distance or had people at work, you know, do things that we don't see fit. Now we understand where the hell Savage was coming from.
Yeah. That's the great thing. It's like, it's the oldest story ever. It's a rift between friends because of a woman. Mm-hmm. Like, it's such a good story.
Absolutely.
You know, but...
And we'll recap all of the happenings that happened from WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 5 as we build up to the Mega Powers exploding on OverAF next week. I'm really excited about this one.
Me too.
Because I started watching wrestling right after WrestleMania 5.
Okay.
So I missed 5, but I caught it. My first real exposure to wrestling was when Zeus showed up on Saturday Night's Main Event, and that's afterwards, you know. So
you did watch the movie? So you watched the movie that Hogan and
No Holds Barred?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw No Holds Barred like 90.
Okay.
Like
so
a few months
after Zeus came in, or
yeah, after Zeus came in.
Okay. I thought maybe you saw the movie and then
Zeus.
Yeah.
No, I had to play catch up to
Gotcha.
everything later on because I was like, who the hell is this guy? He's huge.
Yeah.
And they kept talking about No Holds Barred, No Holds Barred. So I want to say after WrestleMania 6 was where I saw No Holds Barred, and I was like, oh, now I get it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I had to play catch up, but we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. We're gonna throw a lot of clips of 1989 as well as WrestleMania 12 on our Twitter, OverAFpod. Give us a follow there. We want to reach it to 100 followers.
Yes, please.
By next week. It'd be awesome if we get up to 100 followers because our podcast numbers are over 1,000 now. We're just smoothly going into 1,500. We appreciate all the follows. We appreciate all the shares. There's a few shares and comments that we've been getting as well.
Let's set a goal. What are we looking for as far as download?
As far as downloads, we should by next week reach 1,200.
Okay.
We're a little over 1,000 right now. We can make it to 1,200 downloads. We can make it to 100 followers on Twitter. And of course, if you do have a business and you need some more exposure for your business in these trying times, we do have over 1,000 downloads. You will get your business heard. Just email us over at overafpod@yahoo.com for any business inquiries, and we will figure it out, get you featured on the show. Right now, honestly, everybody, wash your hands. Stay safe. Whatever area you're from, make sure you're listening to what's going on and try to keep yourself away from people. And in that time, enjoy some WWE Network. Go ahead and watch Raw and tune into OverAFpod. For Alex Thorn and Danny Garcia, we are
OverAF.